Hey guys, I just want to talk a little bit about this outage that happened at CrowdStrike. This global outage that's happening right now. I'm not a cybersecurity expert at all, but for the last 20 to 25 years, I've been in the security industry, and I've done a lot of IT work. Right now, I'm a handyman, and I do a ton of IT work because I'm always getting customers that have issues with their computer. Either they've been hacked, cybersecurity attack, or somebody just trying to get into their account and mess with their stuff, and a lot of elderly people trying to take their money. So this whole thing seems like a cybersecurity attack, but it's not. It does look like it. It has the same things. But I was looking at the news today, and George Kurtz, the CEO of CrowdStrike, he put out a statement. He says it was on, what is this, today? NBC Today, I believe it is. It says, "We're deeply sorry for the impact that we've caused to customers, to travelers, to anyone affected by this, including our company," he told NBC News Today program. He says, "Many of our customers are rebooting the system, and it's coming up, and it'll be operational." Kurt said, "It could be some time." That sometime is tricky if you know how these systems work. "It could be some time for some systems that won't automatically recover," he added, "but the company would make sure every customer is fully recovered." I actually watched the video, the NBC News Today video, about half an hour ago, and he said his exact statement was, "The system was sent an update, and that system had a bug that caused an issue with Microsoft operating system." Here's my question. You are one of the biggest cloud protecting, security protecting agencies in the world. Everyone uses you. As we can see, everyone has an outage right now. You're telling me, like, I'm not a cybersecurity expert, but what I do know is when you're putting out an update, you test it. You test it on smaller computers or smaller systems or your test system. Any cybersecurity expert, they have a test system. They have a system that they use for testing. So you're telling me you're putting out this huge update and you never tested it? You never tested it on a Microsoft operating system prior to sending it out to banks, airports, all these major establishments? Because if you would have tested it, you would have known that people would get blue screen of death. So that is a little confusing to me. I can't comprehend that. You know, I'm like I said, I'm a handyman, but 50% of my work is removing viruses, updating people's computers, and I know how these things work. So, as someone that's protecting pretty much the world from cyber threats, and you put out this big update, why wouldn't you test it on smaller computers to see if this would cause an issue? I mean, that's just standard practice. I wonder if anybody out there that does cybersecurity is in these fields. I'm sure that's standards of practice. I'm taking the Google cybersecurity course right now. That seems standard practice to me. A system like this, update like this, you're putting out, you would test it on smaller computers, see how it reacts. If everything is normal, then you put it out, especially if you're covering all of Microsoft Windows PCs. Now, when he said it could be some time for some systems that won't automatically recover. Now, what does that mean? Like, blue screens of death. Like I've dealt with a lot of blue screens of death. If you have a blue screen of death, in some cases, you cannot access that machine remotely. So if you can't access that machine remotely, how are you going to provide a fix? The only way you can provide a fix is if you're able to access those computers directly, because they're all blue screened. But if they have like a main IT system, a main IT, you know, um, system like an intranet, where they can then send it, locally, then maybe that will work. But if they don't, that means those computers could be directly affected, which means that then you have to send somebody out to each of those locations to do the fix. They need to boot up in safe mode. And you got to boot up in safe mode. And if you have to boot up in safe mode and you have to go to all these locations to do that, it could be some time before they get this fixed. So it's very interesting that he said it could be some time uh, for some of these systems, because they won't automatically recover. And that's pretty much what I think he's saying. And what he said earlier about, what did he say? That the system update um, caused an issue with Microsoft operating system. An issue? It's more than an issue. The whole world can't operate. You're one of the biggest cloud cybersecurity protection agencies in the world, as we can see, like I said. So you have caused a global outage by a simple thing that I believe that could have been avoided if you tested the update out on smaller systems prior to putting it out. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but any cybersecurity person, on YouTube, tell me, let me know if I'm wrong. The bigger issue is, as a country, we're concerned with cybersecurity threats all the time. But why are we concerned? Not just because they can steal stuff, steal our money, but they cause global outages. CrowdStrike just caused a global outage. So who needs cybersecurity threats? Who needs a cybersecurity threat if the company that's protecting our cybersecurity causes a global outage? CrowdStrike and all these IT companies, they need to think about a different way in terms of how we protect our systems. I understand we need them, but I don't know if cloud-based, there has to be some redundancies. This can't happen again. People can't fly, people can't bank. You really can't do anything. It just shows how reliable we are on certain companies, software, IT, cloud, internet. We're so reliable on that. And if one main breaking point, a simple software bug, can cause all of this, who needs a cybersecurity threat? So in closing, I hope CrowdStrike get their act together. Definitely somebody needs to get fired. I don't know if it's the CEO, but whoever's in charge of testing the bug or testing out bugs prior to software going out, whatever that division is, they need to be let go. Like, I'm not a person of firing people, but look at the world right now. And also their processes and their process of how they push out updates, something's wrong there. For the companies that have been affected, you need to take a second and third look of how you protect your systems. Maybe something locally, a push, like maybe a local system that could kick in, pushing you back an update. I don't know. That's for the IT professionals the SOC teams to figure out. But there has to be something where it's not relied on the cloud to get back to a working operating system where we can do our day-to-day thing. So I just really wanted to put this out there because I find it very interesting that they didn't do that small test prior to pushing this out to the world. A simple thing as testing, like 20 small Windows PCs and seeing if those got the blue screen of death prior to sending this out to airports. Anybody that uses CrowdStrike. I mean, I use CrowdStrike for something simple for my IT software, not my IT software, my cybersecurity threat monitoring software on my Linux system. So I'm really confused as what CrowdStrike has done because they're such a big company. This is simple. This is like 101 cybersecurity to me, and to push out updates. So what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your comments, especially cybersecurity professionals and IT people. Um, how can this be fixed? Am I wrong to say that something like this should be tested on smaller systems first prior to pushing it out to the world, to these big companies? Or is there other procedures that are done in order for this not to happen? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Peace.